Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Ecovacs Deebot X12 OmniCyclone. We first got a look at the X12 at CES 2026, where this fully loaded premium robot was unveiled with a brand new FocusJet pre-soak mopping feature. We bought one and put it through several weeks of hands-on testing in our studio. In this review, we'll reveal what we liked about this robot, where it could have done a little better, and whether it was able to secure a spot in our top 20 robot vacuum list. Links are in the description, and let's get started. Starting with the basics. The X12 OmniCyclone is the latest flagship on the Ecovacs Premium X series. The X12 gets its name from its OmniCyclone Bagless dock, which is a feature we're starting to like a lot as the technology around it seems to have improved. Moving on to the pros. Mopping was a strong pro on this model. The headline feature is the FocusJet spraying. Using its AI camera, the robot can detect stains and then use two jets to spray pressurized water at the mess. After a few seconds, it mops the area, which should be easier to clean after pre-soaking it with the jets. This feature needs to be activated in the app, and the app also gives the disclaimer that it will cause the robot to use more water. For the mop itself, X12 uses the latest version of Ecovacs OSMO 3.0 Roller Mop. This roller is 50% longer than the earlier versions of the OSMO, allowing for a wider cleaning path. It spins at 220 RPM using an unspecified mopping pressure that Ecovacs claims is 16 times stronger than dual spinning mop pads. The roller cleans itself with fresh water while it mops, and it collects used water in a dirty water tank instead of leaving it behind on the floor. The roller can lift 15 millimeters, and a shield covers it for extra protection over carpet. So the robot is able to clean a mix of hard floors and carpets in one pass without getting the carpets wet. Since it is such a new feature, the pre-soaking jets are not something we have a test for. So all of the following scores are based on the roller's own mopping without the assistance of the jet sprayer. In our dried-on stain test, the robot performed above the average, and importantly, did this without using a lot of water. A high water penalty can hurt a robot's overall mopping scores because a lot of water left behind can lead to streaks once the water dries. Between the higher than average stain score and the low water penalty, the X12 got a very high combined mopping score. Ecovacs has a reputation as a top performer as far as robot mops are concerned, and the X12 has lived up to the reputation. The vacuuming was another pro. It did a great job in our basic sweeping tests by removing debris of many different sizes from the surfaces of both hard floors and carpets, making a clean sweep on the first pass without scattering. This model also did an incredible job in our hair management tests. The X12 has an anti-tangle main brush with bristles, which do an excellent job of agitating floor surfaces. In our pet hair pickup test, where we flattened 2.5-inch hairs onto carpets to see how much the robot is able to vacuum, the X12 removed 100% of the hairs. This is a rare score that we also saw on the T90, which tells us that Ecovacs is doing something right with their brush system. We also test the robot's anti-tangle abilities using 7-inch hair, and the X12 got another perfect score here, with none of the hairs wrapping around the brush or the axle. In our bench tests, the suction scores were much higher than average, and its airflow bench test also came in higher than average. Obstacle avoidance was another huge pro in the X12. The system uses a single AI-powered camera with an LED light assist, as well as structured light and 3D edge sensors. It's the same system that we tested on the Ecovacs T90, and it performed exactly the same on both robots. The X12 avoided 23 out of 24 possible objects in our standard and torture tests, which was identical to the T90 Pro Omni, and both were way above the average. The X12 is also rated to negotiate double thresholds of 40 millimeters and a single threshold of 0.94 inches, which is about 24 millimeters. In our test, the robot was able to cross a threshold of 25 millimeters after its second try, so it can cross a full inch with some effort, but that's pushing its limits. Docking automations was a huge pro. One of the most important docking features is the Bagless dustbin system, using Ecovacs' pure Cyclone 2.0 technology. We were a little critical of the system on last year's X11 when we observed a little bit of moisture getting into the dustbin and causing some clogging. This made us a little wary about the system, even though the convenience of it is indisputable, especially for homes that have a lot of pet hair and do not want the repeated expense of disposable bags. But we have not seen this moisture problem since those early tests, and bagless dustbins are starting to look like the future for robot vacuums. The X12's dustbin performed perfectly for us in the studio and did very well in our more informal home test, where the dock was able to handle large amounts of hair from a dog that can be a challenge for a lot of robots. Another important feature on this dock is the Power Boost charging system. This charges the robot while it cleans its mops, taking advantage of the time that the robot would spend on the dock anyway. It can top itself off with 13% of battery charge in just 3 minutes. The dock also cleans the mop with pressurized hot water and dries it with hot air, although we weren't able to find exact temperatures. There are also 2 solution compartments, one for normal use and one for heavy-duty cleaning. Battery life itself is also a pro, even without the power boost system. The battery efficiency is above our testing average, and the robot is able to cover a higher than average estimated square feet per charge. If you do factor in the power boost system, it's likely that the robot would have very few, if any, issues finishing almost any cleaning job. The app for Ecovacs is another pro. It has all of the room customizations, no-go zones, no mop zones, map editing, and scheduling features you would expect on a big brand. It also has more of the fine-tuning features that we like to see, like mopping along the direction of the floor. The RGB camera supports video calls and live video monitoring. The robot is also Matter compatible, and it has an AI-powered cleaning agent and an onboard voice assistant. It's time to move on to the cons. The first was in the deeper clean ability in the vacuum. In the carpet deep clean test, where we embed sand into medium pile carpet, the X12 did right around the average. It also performed a little below average in our crevice test. The other below average score came in navigation efficiency. It was only slightly below average, to be fair, but it's something that we want to keep an eye on because navigation has historically been a little bit of a weak point with Ecovacs robots, both in our tests and in user reviews. Another con is that the dust bin is on the small side. At only 250 milliliters, it's about 30% smaller than average. This can cause problems with overfilling if the home has a lot of bulky debris or lots of pet hair. But in our home test, we observed the robot going to the dock to empty fairly often, so this will probably not be a big deal for most homes. And finally, compared to some of its competitors, this flagship is a little tall. It has a slightly higher profile than average, which can limit access to low-clearance furniture if that's a priority for you. The X12 is too new to make any conclusions as far as user feedback, and if major retailers start logging lots of negative reviews, its rankings could change. But the X12 has found itself a spot extremely high up our top 20 robot vacuums list, and it's easily the best Ecovacs we have tested yet. It's a great floor cleaner in vacuuming, especially for hard floors, and an excellent mop with top-tier obstacle avoidance. Between the great hair management and the Bagless dock, it's also a great choice for homes with pets, and we think it's one of the most significant flagship releases this year. Be sure to check out our other favorite robot vacuums in our list, found on our website linked below. Don't forget to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you go. Thanks for watching! Vacuum Wars independently tests new vacuums year-round, and the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our latest top picks across multiple categories. You'll also find detailed rankings on the Vacuum Wars website, including our top 20 robot vacuums, top cordless vacuums, and more. Every review here is unsponsored, just honest results. Subscribe so you never miss one, and tap the next video to keep watching.